Hi guys, welcome to INFOGIST TV. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and also to put on the notification bell in order to get other gists from INFOGIST TV. With regards to the tension rigging between Russia and Ukraine, a whole lot has transpired over the week, and I'll be bringing you up to speed. The US President Joe Biden says he would consider personal sanctions on Putin, the Russian president, if Russia invades Ukraine. Mr. Biden said there would be enormous consequences for the world if Russia made a move on the nation which sits on its southwestern border, that is Ukraine. His comments came as other Western leaders repeatedly warned that Russia would pay a heavy price for invading Ukraine. Russia has accused the US and others of escalating tensions over the issue and denies planning to enter Ukraine. However, Moscow has deployed an estimated 100,000 soldiers near the Ukraine border. The Kremlin has said it sees the Western military alliance NATO as a security threat and is demanding legal guarantee that it will not add new members further east, including neighboring Ukraine. But the US has said the issue at stake is Russian aggression and not NATO expansion. Now, fears of invasion have prompted Western embassies in Kiev to withdraw some personnel. However, Ukraine's Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba, however, told reporters on Wednesday that while the troop buildup poses a threat to Ukraine, he believes it is insufficient for a full-scale offensive from the Russians. Now, diplomats from Russia, Ukraine, Germany, and France gathered in Paris on Wednesday for talks about the ongoing tension. Now, taking questions from reporters on Tuesday, Mr. Biden replied and said yes when asked whether he could see himself imposing sanctions on the Russian president personally in the event of Russian invasion of Ukraine. Such a move across Ukraine's border would mean enormous consequences worldwide and could amount to the largest invasion since World War II. In the words of Joe Biden, the U.S. president. Now, on Wednesday, UK Foreign Minister Liz Truss echoed Mr. Biden's word, telling the BBC today's program that the government has ruled out nothing out, including sanctions against the Russian leader, and said the UK is looking to toughen up its sanctions on people, banks, and businesses of Russia. What is important is that all of our allies, according to the foreign minister, do the same, and it is by their collective action they are showing Putin that they are united. And according to him, in his word, he said, we will help deter a Russian incursion. Western powers agreed to unprecedented sanctions against Russia if it were to invade during crisis talks earlier in the week. I told you earlier on that a whole lot has transpired, and I will be bringing you up to speed. So on Tuesday, the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson raised the issue of banning Russia from the SWIFT international payment system, a move which senior Russian officials said meant Europe would not be able to pay for and receive Russian products. Russia responded aggressively to Mr. Biden's remarks. Dmitry Peskov, spokesman for Mr. Putin, said such sanctions would not be painful for the president but would be politically destructive. He added that Russia's top government officials were banned from having any asset or accounts abroad and that Mr. Putin's salary went to the Russia Bank. Separately, Mr. Biden's administration said it was working with oil and gas suppliers around the world to boost shipments to Europe in the event of Russia's cutting off supplies. And then that was recorded and published according to the New York Times report. Russia currently provides about 1/3 of the crude oil and gas imported by the European Union. Speaking at the press conference on Wednesday, President of the European Council, Charles Michel, warned that aggression against Ukraine would result in serious consequences. A threat against Ukraine is a threat against Europe, he said. It is not unprecedented for Western powers to impose sanctions on heads of government or heads of state. Past recipients of international punitive action include the likes of Robert Mugabe of Zimbabwe, Bashar al-Assad of Syria, and Muammar Gaddafi of Libya. But to sanction a despot is one thing, to sanction the leader of a major regional power is another. Targeting the head of a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council is rare, if not unprecedented, and to do so would plunge the United Nations into chaos. Sanctioning Putin would make cooperation harder on other issues. The West needs his help to revive the nuclear program of Iran, the Iran nuclear deal. That support might disappear if Putin were to be sanctioned by the West. It might also make it harder for Western leaders to meet Putin personally to discuss international crises. He might not be able to travel to Geneva, or it might be illegal for the Western leaders to meet with Putin in Moscow. Now, sanctioning Putin might also make him more popular at home. Like in the case of Mugabe, certainly he used his sanctions as an electoral asset in Zimbabwe. They also might not work in a technical sense. Russian experts say that much of Putin's personal wealth is hidden away in the hands of third-party proxies. And then there is this politics rather, where sanctions are often done and are best done with allies. It might be hard to get unanimous support, say, within the European Union for personal sanctions against the Russian leader. Mr. Biden also said on Tuesday that he would feel obliged to beef up NATO's presence in Eastern Europe if Russia invade, but he repeated that there were no plans to send US troops to Ukraine itself. The US has already put up about 8,500 combat soldiers ready on alert to deploy at short notice. So Russia has accused the US and NATO of flooding Ukraine with weapons and Western advisors. Washington has also warned Russian ally Belarus that it would face a swift and decisive response if it assists in an invasion. Russia seized Ukrainian territory before when it annexed Crimea in 2014, like I said in the other episode. After Russian forces seized control, Crimea voted to join Russia in a referendum the West and the Ukraine deemed illegal. Russia backed rebels also control areas of eastern Ukraine near Russia's border. That conflict has cost an estimated 14,000 lives, like I also said earlier in the earlier episode I published last week, with a 2015 peace deal long way from being fulfilled. Could Russia ever invade Ukraine? Is a food for thought as the day goes by and the build-up of military bases around Ukraine continues. The world is watching.